I mean, I know this is a tough situation. It's not just tough on our family. It's got to be 10 times tougher on the little girl's family. I do know it's pretty tore Donald up pretty bad. I don't. It's painful, really, because I sit back and think. I sat in court with him just this last session, and when I walked in there, I felt bad for our family. But once I was inside the room, I felt even worse, So it's a real twisted situation, is what it is. And I know Donald's got a big heart, and he wants to do everything right. I know my kid. He'd take his shoes off and give them to a person that didn't have shoes. That's the kind of kid he is. He's not a selfish kid. A very likable kid and stuff, and most of the people he tried to hang out with had solid families. Mothers, fathers, both working, building a family, and he was raised in a single family. So, I relate to that because it just kind of bothers you growing up like that. I guess Donnie and we got reunited probably around his 5th grade year of school, 6th grade year of school. His mother had some issues.
Well, yeah, because and after my accident, I had to go and live with my sister. He was driving and we rolled the car 8 times. The car landed on him and it killed him, and it ejected me out the window, and somehow, by the grace of God, I prayed, and somehow I made it in the vehicle, and I got warm, and somebody drove by and on their way to work, and that's how they seen the car rolled sitting on the side, and that's how they found us. So I had to go and live with my sister. I had to give them my house, so that was kind of hard because she has 3 kids, and then my 3 kids, so there were 6 kids. There was a lot of us in there, so it was kind of chaotic. And then Donald and his sister have the same dad, and then their younger brother has a different dad, the one that died in the car wreck. And so he was trying to, be a father figure, like, to his brother, too, trying to pick up the slack and make sure he was there, to give him a little support and try to give him something to look up to. Well, of course, there was a lot of hardships and going on and everything, so he didn't know how to adjust to it, as none of us did. So he acted out, and he started a little bit getting in trouble with and hanging out with the wrong crowd and stuff like that. And I don't want you to get in any trouble or anything. I think maybe you should go with your dad while I try to get back on my feet and see what I need to do, and that's where his sister ended up going too.
I would say Donald stayed with me from 5th to right around the 7th grade in Alabama. I went to school. About that age, he wanted to come back up here. He always had a lot of friends up here. And he come back, and at that point, he never come back to live with me ever again. He ended up staying here as a teenager. I may have come up here 2 or 3 times, or seen him in that period of time until he was an adult. So basically everything he was doing as a teenager, I wasn't there as a teenager at all. I spoke over the phone quite frequently, but there was never a father or son. It was always a handful of promises of trying to get together, and we never did,
So I've known Donnie about 18 years now. We became friends in middle school when he moved up from Alabama. I think he ended up moving from Alabama because his father ended up in prison at that time. We quickly became friends in middle school. So, we were kind of evolved together through life.
I've known Donnie since freshman year, high school, 1999. So, known him for good, almost 15, 20 years now. It's good. We're friends and we work together quite a bit. So we've been working together for the last couple of years, and I've actually worked with him when we were out in California for a long time. I moved out there for work, and then he moved out there about a year after I did. And we did some custom log homes and really cool stuff out there. And now I moved back here. He helps me out, do a lot of tile and drywall, and he's a good worker, good employee, and never had any problems or issues with him. He actually is a real good face because he's talkative, and the customers seem to like him a lot. He's a good face for the company and the business. He's very talkative sometimes with them, which is good because sometimes I'm just into the work and I'm just there to do a job and, get in and get out. And Donnie actually brings it in to where it's more of a friendship kind of feeling with the homeowners and stuff like that. And he's really good at that. He's got a big heart and he likes to get to know people that way. So it's cool.
I developed a pretty bad addiction to Oxycontin in my early 20s. And Donnie was very influential in helping me stay sober. He was kind of like I'd say an off-label sponsor for me. If I thought I was going to relapse, it didn't matter the time, 1 a.m, 2 a.m, Donnie said, always call him. Like he was on me, like, so I've called him several times when I was close to slipping, and sometimes we'd end up talking for 2, maybe 3 hours, and by the time I was done, I'd forgot that I was just about to go use drugs again. If it weren't for Donnie early on helping me stay sober, I don't feel like I would have ever got there. I don't feel like I would have ever went through college. I don't feel like I would have, met my wife and had kids and have the life that I have today. He's the kind of guy who would give you the shirt off his back. I mean, he's not materialistic like a lot of people. He doesn't measure. That's one thing that's great about him is he doesn't measure people by financial success or anything like that. He measures them by who they are as a person. And if you're one of his friends, even not a close friend, but if you need help with something, he won't try to make up an excuse. Like say when you're going to be moving, most of your friends will be busy that day. Donnie doesn't play like that or play that game. He'll come straight and start helping you. It's how he's always been. It's like a natural gift. I wish I had.
Well, they gave me a police officer that was the one they appointed to me if I had any questions. So I kind of I would call him each day to check on her and see how she was doing. I asked him if there was anything I could do or if I could speak to the family. He told me that wasn't a good idea right now. But he told me he would let me know how she was doing. And a couple days after, he contacted me and told me that she had passed. I don't know. After that, I just shut myself down, stopped working, and I don't know, pretty much barricaded myself in my room, didn't leave.
I know it hurt him pretty bad. I know emotionally and it's taken its toll on him, and I know he's very remorseful, and he just he's definitely feeling it. I know that. And he's talked about sleepless nights, and just thinking about them and their family and what happened and everything. He's gotten choked up at work quite a few times about it, and it's feeling it pretty hard.
I could see that he takes more time to think about what he's doing, and he just don't have impulse actions now, quick decisions. So he works a lot harder on trying to have a relationship with his family now. and it's all coming together now.
Yeah, I mean, when it first came up, like right after it happened, he didn't. He wasn't worried about legal trouble. He was broken by what happened. He still is. His concern, from what I've seen the entire time, hasn't been legal trouble. I mean, Donnie's punished himself, like morally, like worse than any type of sentencing or time sitting in a cell could do. I mean, it changed his whole life, and it broke him.
Honestly, that's something that's been running through my head for the last year and a half. I don't know. I'm sorry, and I don't think there's anything I can say or do that's gonna take the pain away from anyone in their family or friends. I don't know exactly what to say, or I don't know what the right words would be. But I want them to know that I'm sorry for all the pain and suffering that I've caused in their lives. But I don't know. I think about it day after day, and I've tried to write stuff down, but it just, I don't know what the right words would be, or I don't even honestly know if they want to hear me. I mean, if I put myself in their position, I don't know how I'd feel.
He cries a lot and feels really bad for the family and doesn't know what to do, and I don't know what to say, because I feel bad for the family too, and I just don't know. All I can say is it was an accident, and I'm really sorry, and I know he's really sorry because he hurts and he cries a lot in his room, and then Donald is a good child. He has a very sensitive heart. He would give you the shirt off his back if he had to, I've seen him do so many things for people. I don't know, I just don't want my baby to go away. He's a good support system for me. And I'm trying to be a good support system for him.
I don't know. I would like to eventually try to maybe speak at schools, or maybe like a alcohol class or something, just to let younger generation, older generation, whatever, realize how fast something like this can affect so many people. Because I don't think a lot of people look at it or think about it that way.
Because, like I said, his character is one of the nicest souls I've ever met. Out of anyone I know. He's from the childhood he had. I find it unbelievable he grew up to be who he is today and be how he is today. So I'm hoping the judge takes some serious consideration into that.
I don't know. Anything I can do for him, I would absolutely do in a heartbeat. So,